Hey everyone, so this is for making a little condo office space kind of thing. I first saw this video. It was done by this awesome guy named Wes Bunn, and he made it in 4.7. So this is 5, so I wanted to update it. I couldn't find it anywhere else, but it's just such a fantastic exercise that I really thought that it needed to be on 5. So hope you don't mind. It's helped a lot of students, and I think what it teaches is it goes through just all kinds of just little elements of how to move things around, how to change textures, how to group things, a lot of exactitude. It looks a little like this. And you can see it's pretty neat. It has some really neat, it shows you all these really cool textures. Putting some lights in there, you're putting some windows in there. And you're using additive or subtractive BSP. So it uses BSP brushes, which, 5 seems to be trying to move away from that, but BSP brushes are fantastic for blocking stuff out. So it's still really good to know how to do this stuff. So you'll learn a lot of stuff in this video about how to make this. And well, all right. Well, let's dive right into it. All right, so we have Unreal up, and we're going to start the engine, version 5, and we have our project browser. So we'll choose game, and we'll do first person on this one, and let's give it a location. And make sure that you have starter content in there, because we're going to use some of the assets that are inside of it. The rest of it, pretty standard. Find a location for it, and let's create it. Okay, so it is up, and just in case you're very new to Unreal, this is obviously the main screen over here. We have the outliner right over here. We have our details for each object that you've selected, kind of like the channel box in Maya. This is like the outliner, even the same name. And we have different ways of looking at the world. We can have lit, we can have unlit with no lights, we can have wireframe, we can have just the lighting, and go back to lit. We can look at different perspectives, but it's generally keep it on right on perspective. And for me, I don't like the inverted mouse look to, so I'm going to go back into editor preferences. I guess I need to make that the preferences writable. And I type in mouse in the search up at the top. I go to invert middle mouse pan and turn that on. Close that. Set as default. Yes, update. Right anyways. And OK. And now it should be behaving like my app. So this is our first, the first level, and just, it was a little bit weird. I've been working in Unreal since 2005 when we did Republic Commando over at LucasArts, and a lot has changed since then. But I think the interesting thing to note about Unreal is that you have different levels. You have a whole project, and then you have levels within it. So we're going to go over to File, and we're going to go to New Level. So you might think that that would just make a whole different scene or project, but it does not. We'll click on Basic, and you can see some of them are totally dark, but Basic has the skybox in it and just a basic plane. So it doesn't have any of this, so we just get rid of that stuff. This will still be here. It's in like your default workspace. So this is what we're left with. We have world here. We have a grid underneath it that you can see a little bit. And then we have our skybox out there. So let's click on this basic object here. And let's delete that. That's a static mesh. We don't want that right now. So to start with, there's a lot of different ways that you can block out levels. You can use static meshes, but you can also use a thing called a brush. And brushes are kind of a little bit not as used in Unreal 5, but they were pretty big for a while, up until 5. And so in order to get our actors, we need to go into Windows and Place Actors, and we'll get this little menu over here. So we're going to start with by clicking over here, going to the right, the third from the right on Geometry. Geometry, these are brushes, so they're different than shapes. These are static meshes. These cannot be edited in the same way that brushes can. Brushes, you can change textures on the fly in the details, which is very nice in order to block out stuff and prototype stuff. So let's click and hold on this box brush, and we're going to drag it into our scene. And you can press F, and that will focus it just like in Maya. And let's move this guy so he's right down at 0, 0, 0. So I change the location so it's at 0, 0, 0. I press F again, and then I focus into that. So to start with, this is going to be our floor, and we're going to change some of the dimensions of it. I'm going to close Place Actors, and we can change it by scaling it with R, but in this regard, I'm just going to change it in the brush settings down here and change the numbers there. So our first one is going to be, X is going to be 500, and Y is going to be 500, and I press Tab, and then Z is going to be 20. So now we get a nice little floor right there. Look at that little floor. We want to duplicate this into 4 sections. So I'm going to hold down Alt, I'm going to move it along here, and then I'm going to have still Alt held down, and you'll notice I'll click in between these guys, and I can move it along this axis here. Oops. You have to lift up and then press Alt, and then it'll do it. There we go. And you'll also see that with snapping, I'm able to get that nicely snapped. Lifting up Alt, and then I'm moving it over here. I thought it looked a little small. There we go. All right, so we have 4 pieces, and the reason we do these 4 pieces is so that we can have textures on each one of these quadrants. If we didn't, we would have textures along the whole thing, which is not a bad thing, but in this case, this is what we want. So now we're going to make some walls, and we're going to take one of these guys here. We're going to hold down Alt. We're going to move it up into the air, and we're going to make this the start of our wall. So this one we could rotate again. We could rotate it, move it around, just like so. But I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to just put in numbers over here to change it. A lot of different ways of doing stuff. So we have Y is going to be equal 20, and Z is going to be 300, and X is going to be 500. All right. Press W, and I'm going to move this guy over here so it's flush with this side. Not quite flush yet. And there it is. It's flush with the side, but it's not sitting on the floor. So in order to get it sitting on the floor, there's a handy key. All we do is press End, and it does nothing. Let's try that again. Let's move it up. There we go. That's what it needed. So we press End, and then it will sit right on the floor. All right, and let's move this guy up here. Make sure that that is nicely locked in. And we control click that other side. Hold down Alt again. Oop, let's press W. Okay. Control click that guy. Alt. And then move it. That was weird. I've never seen that happen before. Oops. Yeah, I was pressing the wrong key. All right, so we have both of those walls up. And now we're going to do the back walls. This is going to be slightly different. So I click on this back brush here, move it up a little bit, and we're going to change these numbers. So we make X 20. We make Y 480. And then we make Z 300. And let's snap that to the back. And snap this in a little. Move it up over it. And then press end. I'll snap it down. And let's do this other side here. There we are. We're going to leave this side open. And all right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to move these side guys up and this one up. So we hold down Control, click, and click. Make sure we get that one. Did we get it? Yeah, there we go. And this one, and this one. Oops, I moved it. There we go, okay. And we hold down, lift up Alt, and bring it down again. Grab the blue arrow, move it straight up. Snap it down. All right. And then we're going to leave this guy open, and we're going to select this guy. So you can not only can you can change the size of these guys from here, but we can also go into brush editing, and this will select the individual faces. So I switched from our selection mode into the brush editing mode, and the object was selected. The brush is selected. I'm going to select it one more time, and I had to select it a couple times, and that selects that face that's on the outside. And I don't have Alt there. I'm just moving it straight on out, and I want it to go to snap right into that spot right there. And let's see how everything looks. All right, looks good. Press escape a couple times, and all right, there we go. So it has a little overhang. And once we get that going, we're going to now select the floor pieces. So we select this one. Oh, we need to go into our selection mode. And click select on this guy, and click select on this guy. There we go. Took a little bit of time. And then we hold down Alt, and we're going to move, or rather duplicate these guys up. So you'll notice that it's on top of these walls over here. So we have a little enclosure. Only thing is we have this little problem here with the ceiling. So to fix that, I am going to select this face. Oh, I'm going to go into brush mode, brush editing mode rather. Select the top of it, and then just move it up so it's flush with the ceiling. All right, go into our selection mode, and let's also move the sun. Where is our sun? I think it's in there somewhere. I think it might actually be inside of the object. So selection mode, I'm going to move that out of the way so you can find it. There it is. There's our sun. So the sun piece, I want to move back so that we have very particular, no, that's not the sun. This is the sun. We're going to have a very particular lighting setup. I'll move this guy back. And of course, it doesn't really matter exactly where it is in the world. What really matters is the direction you take. So pithy. You can see here that when I move it around, we are getting some different kinds of shadows on the inside. So I think I'll bring it to about like that. I also can rotate it. You'll notice that we get some different shadows going on here. I want to give it a shadow that looks a little bit like that. So a little diagonal, so you can see some Nice little reflection going in there. And so once we get these guys, and this is right here is our whole setup for the enclosure for blocking it out. You'll notice that when we go inside here, you can see that the light changes. So it's adjusting for your eye. Oftentimes we're going to have to rebuild the lighting, and you could rebuild the whole thing, or you could just select build lighting only, and it calculates a lot of the lights that are going on in there. And good. All right, didn't change much. We can also go in here and we can add some lights, but we can also, I want to also show you that you can turn off the adjustment here. If we turn on game settings, then we can see that it's when you go inside, you don't have any lighting changes. I can also add a light if I want. If I hold down L and I click right over here, we'll get a light, and this can be a point light, can be immediately brought in and make that area a little bit brighter. In the original video, he was able to connect that light into the camera, and I think in order to do that here, or now I can't find that in 5. It's probably somewhere. You'd probably have to just go into the blueprint and change it. But I'm going to bring back this here, so the adjustment for the lighting, and it will adjust. Alright, so let's start adding some doors and windows. So for this, we're going to be doing some subtractive brush shapes, and I'll show you what that means in just a second. We're going to have a door on the back here, and we're going to have a window here, and a window here, and a skylight right up here. So for this, let's take this door here, or this brush here. We're going to hold down Alt, and we're going to drag this forward. And then let's look at our content. We have inside of our starter content, we have props. So you go to starter content, expand that up, go to props, and you'll see that there's a whole bunch of these guys here, and we'll use a bunch of these guys. This is our door frame, so let's look at the size of this thing. 25 by 114 by 212, and let's see here, 114 by 2 by 2 212. So let's take it, let's drag it in, press F to get closer to it, and I'm going to move this guy back a little here, and then take this guy, drag it into the wall. F again, look on the back, that's equivalent. Let's get it now onto the ground. And that looks about good. Yeah. I think right there is good. Alright, so we have the door frame, what we want it to be, where we want it to be. And now we just need to change this size to be the same size as the door. So, or a little smaller, because the door is going to be a little bit bigger. So let's change Y to 110. Makes it more narrow. And then let's change Z to 210. Right. Now it's hovering, so we press End. That'll bring it down. And drag it close to our door, but it is right now additive, so we need to change it. If we look in our transform area or general, then we go to subtract, and now anything that we put this inside of, it will remove the space. So look around here. It could also, if you notice that if you do this and it goes down a little bit, obviously we don't want that. Or if you have a little bit of a gap on the top, you don't want to have that. So this is why it's good to do the snapping. really helps to make things more exacting. We're also going to do these windows. So let's look at our windows here. And here's a window frame, 25 by 94 by 144. And let's drag that in. And it's at an angle. So let's rotate that guy. We press E for rotate. We click and hold on this, and you'll see that it says -90. And let's see where we shall put it. W, put it about here, down a little bit, around here. Grab the green one, bring it inside. Both sides are equivalent. Now we're going to take this. Actually, before we do that, let's move our window over here. So I'm just going to hold down Alt and move that guy over here. Maybe a little more over. There we go. I'll select this BSP shape. Press W, hold down Alt, and move it forward. And let's change that window, the window size to 90. So that is X is set to 90, and then Y is set to 20. No, that's all right. There's already that. And Z is 140. Let's move it over here. And then let's scroll down and change it from additive into subtractive, and that's in brush settings. I won't tell you immediately that you're doing it right. Just have to lift up. Okay, there we go. Let's hold down Alt and duplicate this guy. Good. All right. And we have two windows going. Now we're going to add a little skylight. And we'll take one of these window guys, hold down Alt, drag it over here, rotate it so it's facing forward, and rotate it down. And then let's move it up into the ceiling. So I'm going to want this guy to be a little bit wider. That looks about right. Oh, no, we can make it bigger. 79. Now we need to make a brush shape that's going to cut through it. Select on it, hold down Alt, and that should be 300 by 200. Nope, not good. All right, let's bring it here, put it into the wall, but first, change this to subtractive. Oh, we have Z fighting there, so I'll do 0.65. All right. Now let's start adding our materials to our condo level. So we have everything set up here like thus. And let's look in our content drawer. I'm going to make this a little smaller. And so if you go to starter content, and then you go to materials, you'll see all these guys. So when you're applying textures to or materials rather, to the world or to your objects, remember you don't apply just the textures, you apply the materials, because the materials have all the node network set up into it. So I'm going to apply the basic wall texture. So we have materials, and this is our basic wall texture. Let's click on one of these walls here, and sometimes this works for me, sometimes it doesn't. If you press Shift W, it will select all of the adjacent walls, and it seemed to work this time. Huzzah! Let's see though if putting the wall on it, or the material on it, will work. So click and hold, drag onto these walls, and there we go. All right, so now we have the M basic wall on those walls. That's what we need. And we're gonna put M basic wall on this other underside here. Move that under there. And then for the ceiling, let's do that. And control click on these other pieces. M basic wall, drag up there. And I'm going to do that for our ceiling up here. Let's just get it all over the place. And let's see, did we get it on the front? I think we did. We haven't gotten, did we get it on the back? I think we did. Yeah. We don't have a little object back here. I meant to do this. So let's add this one here. We click on that guy, and we're going to hold down Alt, and we're going to drag this guy out. And then let's move it back. Our snapping got turned off somehow. Look at that. Because the snapping was turned off, when I moved it, it got a little bit strange. Let's put it down to 1. Let's see if we can get it all nicely snapped together, because that's going to look a little funky. I'm going to delete that and put our snapping on to 10. Try this again. Alt. There. That should do it. Okay. All right. Let's make sure that all of our other areas are good. I'm going to put this on to unlit so I can see exactly what these textures are. So I'll get these guys. Yeah, this is the... Oh, that's unusual. Shift. Let's try this. Control, control, drag on. That's all right. We're not going to worry about that because that's going to be a different texture. That's our little deck, so we don't fall to our deaths. And there we are. Cool. All right. Put it back onto lit. For the floor, let's do... M wood floor walnut polished. So we're going to grab this one, control click. We're going to grab this one, control click this one, and then we're going to drag them onto there. And for the other side, we're going to use, there's a nice, there we are. This one, control click this one, control click that one. Make sure that the threshold is also selected. Yep, it is. Control click that. Now all of these should be selected. All the floors on the right side. No, they're not. Well, isn't that silly? Control, 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 click. There we go. Okay, now we did it. Just had to reselect them. And check out those nice reflections in there. Why? Unreal 2.5 did not look like that when we worked on Republic Commando. All right, so we got that going on. There's another texture that we're going to put on here, and that's going to be right up here. So we're going to select this one, control click that one. Let's bring up the content drawer. We're going to put M basic floor on it. And it just has a nice little blue color, even though it is a floor texture. Make sure our ceiling's good. And let's build all the lighting only. Just make sure everything's nicely built. Okay. So what we need to do for, oh, and on the left side of this wall, we're going to put a nice brick texture. So let's control click on these guys. And let's also do this back wall here. So all these textures, or these faces there, we're going to put this nice brick texture on. So let's put M brick clay on it. M brick clay. We're going to do new. We're not going to do the old one. Put that right in there. Okay, there we go. All right. What we need to do also is we need to make sure that these textures are nicely lined up. So you can see that we have a seam here. We don't want that. That's not cool. That's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters. So let's click on the floor here, control click on this one over here. And we're going to go over to geometry in our detail section, and we're going to click align surface planar. And now it should be nicely lined up. Then we're going to click 45 degrees, and we'll get it looking a little like a little swank condo pad. Then let's also click on the marble flooring. Let's see, a lot of it looks like it's, nope, we have a seam. So I'm going to control click, control click, control click, and then I'm going to select alignment, surface planar. Let's make sure that everything is nicely aligned up. Press escape and we'll deselect. Yep, that's good. All right. Cool. All right. And also make sure to save your file. Control S will save the level. To save everything, you can also click on Save All, and that will save your whole scene. All right, let's start adding the supporting meshes in our scene. So this, we're going to bring in some static meshes to support the roof and our little alcove kind of thing here. And all right, here we go. We're going to open up our content drawer, and we're going to go to architecture. So starter content, architecture, and you'll see this pillar right over here. And we're going to click and hold, and we're going to drag it in. And you're going to see it's not quite the right size for everything. So we're going to change the size or the scale for this. We could change it just by pressing R, but let's do a little bit more exactitude. We'll put in 1.25, 1.25, 1.25 for our for scaling for X, Y, and Z. We can see that it's going in, going out on top of it. So let's bring it down a little bit, and let's bring it to 1.23, which will bring it right inside. Then we're going to drag this guy over here using the Y and X, and let's make it so that it is, if we're looking at it from the inside, there we are. We can see that it's a little off. Make the red arrow go right on the wall, and that looks good. And we're going to do the same for the other wall. Remember, you can hold down Alt. You can also hold down Alt and Shift, and it will move the camera along with you. And we're going to look over here. Drag this so that the arrow is right on the wall. There we go. And then then we'll bring it also into the back. And I'm just going to hold Alt on this guy. Drag it all the way back. And make this guy right there on the wall. There we are. And then I'll lift up Alt and hold it back down again and bring it over here. There we go. Then I'll lift up Alt again and bring it forward. Let's make sure that I'm going to bring this up here so I can make sure that it's nicely in the right spot. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. We can see it's right there in the middle of it. And we'll bring it back down. Oops. Doesn't like end when there's something else touching it. Okay. Looking good. Let's hold down Alt and move it over here to this side. Make sure, yep, there we go. It's in the middle. And let's also bring this guy over. Let's see, should we have it over there? Yeah, so we're going to hold down Alt, we're going to move it over here, and we're going to rotate this guy so that it is 90 degrees. So if I rotate it like this, 90 degrees, press W, I'm going to bring this guy back up here like so. And then we're going to extend this guy. So we're going to scale him. We're pressing, we pressed R once. We're going to scale this guy out, way out here. We don't want it to go outside of the wall. It doesn't really ultimately matter if it goes outside of the wall, it's okay. But if it's flush against the wall, oop, that's all right. Oh, okay, and we'll make this guy flush against over here so you don't have any Z fighting. That'll probably stick out of the wall. There we go. Bring that in. So we have snap scaling over here, and this is just like moving. You can change the snap scaling to 0.1, and then if we bring this in, there we go. Now we go straight to the wall over there, so that's good. Now this one here, I don't know if we want that right in the middle there. I think we may bring that one up. Yeah, let's try that. And just add a little addendum. So I changed my mind about this one spot. I'm going to change this here. I'm going to bring this guy up. And this guy, I'm going to change it to 1 and 1. I think that... Oop, I forgot to change this one to 1. That's why. There. I think that has a little bit more consistency. Whoop, that's not consistent. Let's bring that in. Make sure it goes up to the top. I'll change this to 0.7. Nope. I'll change that to 0.65. There we go. All right, now let's start adding some decorative pillars, or supports, or whatever you want to call them. You could call them Chazwazzers, I'm not sure, or Frank. So let's go into our content drawer, and we'll find the SM pillar frame. You can see here, we're in starter content. We go to props, and SM pillar frame, not the 300 one, but just this one. Grab it, and bring it over there. Move it forward, move it around over here, press F, so I can rotate around it. And I want to have, there we go, I want to have this decorative element, hence the decorative pillars, facing outward. We're going to put that over there. I have snap set to 10. I'm going to move this close. Are. It's far too tall, so we're going to bring that down. Let's try R and get it closer. So 0.7. I'm going to go to 0.685. There we go. That's still a little bit of a gap. I'll go to 0.69. There we go. All right, so with these guys, we're gonna be eyeballing these guys. I'm gonna hold down Alt and grab this, move it all the way over to the side here, and press F. Look at that guy, make sure it looks like it's good. It's pretty good. It's kind of in a little bit into the wall. I could change the snap to 5. Nope, still there. I'll change the snap to 1. Yeah, just move it over a couple times. Change it back to 10. And then we'll just look at it a little bit like so that we can make sure that we have this so that we can eyeball it nicely. So we're going to put one here. Well, we have that there. We're going to put one here and here, so we're going to have it them equidistant. So one about here, and I'm holding down Alt. Oops. I lift up Alt. Remember that you need to do that. That could go there a little, and I'll put that one over there. All right, looking cool. That looks very nice. Oops. And now I'm going to put some pillars up above. So I'll grab this one. I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to drag it up. F. Drag it down so it touches. It's going in too far. Let's put it down. Let's put it to 1. There we go. Set it 1. Let's see what the top looks like. Is it in there? Yeah, it's good. But I also want to make these guys smaller. So I'm going to change this back to 10. And I'll change the scaling of these guys. There we go. To 0.75. 0.75. I'll leave Z where it's at. It's going in a little into the wall, but it really doesn't matter. And let's put one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. One there. Oops. One there. Lift up. One there. Lift up. One there. Lift up. One there. Okay. Don't want to do too many. There. All right. Now we can hold Control down and click on these guys, and we can group these guys. You can press Control G, that'll group them. You can see Group Actor is up there, and you see the little green around these guys here. And I'm going to be looking down from here. I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm going to bring these guys around like that. Cool. Alright, that needs to go over just a little bit more. Bring it down to 1. I think I may bring this up to 5. And then I can right click on this and go to Groups and Ungroup. So Shift G, I guess, is the way to do that. I get into a habit of something and I don't change it. Now let's see if it works. Yes, it did. All right, Shift G. All right. Let's grab one of these guys here and hold down Alt, move it forward. I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise 90, so minus 90 degrees. I'm going to move this back, move it into the corner, like so. Put this to 1. Here we are. Yeah, that's good. Then hold down Alt, drag that guy there. 2. We're going to add 2 in the middle here, put that back to 5. Alt, lift up Alt, lift up Alt. All right, looks good. Hold down Control and click these guys. Press Control G to group it. And hold down Alt. We're going to move it this way. We're going to rotate it kind of clockwise 90. Move it back toward the wall. F. Move it back so it's just barely in there. Bring it up to 1. How does that look over there? That could go over 1. Why did that go over there? That's weird. Oops. Click on this guy. Shift G to ungroup. Move this guy over here. All right. I'm going to grab this group because I had ungrouped the other one. And hold down Alt. Bring that over here. Bring this over here. Forward. Make sure it's not going too far into the wall. All right. And then I will ungroup it, Shift G. We're still at 1. So I'm going to be able to get some more exactitude here. Looks a little weird, but nah, it's all right. Okay. Then I'll change this texture so that it is the wall texture. If you want to find out what texture is on something, you can click on, or if you want to use a texture from somewhere else, you click on an object with a material rather that you want. You can go over here to where it has the magnifying glass on the folder icon. It says Browse to in Content Browser. Click on that guy. We have that one. And then we can just drag that right into that wall piece. I think that looks a little more condo-like. Let's grab this group again because I ungrouped them. Hold down Alt. Move over here. Move over here. Rotate it again, -90. And bring it there into the wall. Looks good. Center these guys. Shift G and bring this guy so it's close to the wall. This one so it's close to the wall. And then lastly, let's select these guys with Control G to group it, and then Alt and bring it out over here. Let's make sure it is centered. That's not centered. Okay, so I'm going to do Shift G, grab this guy, move it out so it's laying flat. That's good. And then for the first floor, let's put one in the corner and one over here and one down there. So let's grab this one. We'll do Alt. We'll move this guy down here. Move it over there. All right. Put this back into 5. Hold down Alt, move this guy into the corner. Press F to get close. And lift up Alt, bring this guy over here. Bring this guy over here. Let's bring it back down to 1. Let's bring this guy out just a little bit. Oh yeah? Okay. The one thing though is we can see this little bolt that's up here? That's kind of in the ceiling there. Let's see if I do 0.68. That's better. 0.68. Puppies are making sounds. See what they want. And now, actually, finally, we're going to move this guy right here. Is that right? I'm going to move it in here. Yeah. Press F. over here and make sure it's in the middle. And it needs to go a little higher. 0.69. All right. There we go. We have all these nice supports in here. Let's also make the lighting a little bit more warm. So save it. And let's find our light. So click on this guy. And then we'll change the intensity to 10. And we're going to change the light color. I just opened up the light color RGB. We'll change that to, we'll leave the RGB, the R at 255, the green at 218, and the red will be 182. It gives it a little bit more of a warm color to it. And let's build the lighting. I don't think it's going to change anything. All right, and save it. And now let's add those glass doors. All right, let's do the last little bits here. So we're going to add some glass and do a couple little adjustments, and we'll be done. So let's put some glass right along here with a little doorway right over there. So we go into our props, into the starter content and props, and there's SM glass window. And we'll drag that in here. Press F to get closer to it. Press E to rotate, and rotate it -90. And let's move this guy closer to our little girder. Incidentally, if you're not able to select the glass, you might have to press T. Here you can see that it's not letting you select the glass, but if you press T again, it'll let you select it. I can't find where that is in, and let's scale this guy up because it's a little off. We're gonna bring it up off the ground just a little bit. We're still in 1. And we'll move that out a little bit from the sides. And we're gonna scale this guy up. Actually, nope, let's scale it uniformly up. So I'm scaling it right from the middle, right down there. And it goes too far up. So I'm going to click on the scale snap, and actually I'll turn it off with the little button over there and bring it down. There we go. So we have about a similar amount on above and below. Okay, turn that guy back on. And now we have our glass. So now we need little metal things to hold them in place. So it looks all corporate. And bring these guys out here. And that's too big, so I'm going to make it at 0.5. 0.5, at 0.5. And press F to look at the guy. And I'll rotate this guy 90 degrees. And put them right next to the glass. We're gonna put one on this side, and we're gonna put one on the other side, and then we're gonna duplicate these guys all along. So I'll take that guy, Alt, move it over here to this corner. There we go. And grab these guys and press E and then hold down Alt, and we rotate and duplicate at the same time. Move them over. Press F. And bring it on out just a little bit. There we go. We have both these guys selected. And press Q. That'll get rid of the gizmo so that you don't, the gizmo isn't in the way, just like Maya. Control click there. Control click here. And now I'll hold down Alt and drag it up. Oops. The mouse touched underside of the monitor. And I'm going to rotate these guys this way 180. Drag them over here. I also want to make sure that they're right over each other, so I'm going to put them right on top. There we go. And then drag them up. Until they touch the ceiling. Excuse them. Alright, so we have those 4 up there set. We're going to control click the glass. Control click each of these little dudes down here. And select that. Control G for grouping it. And then we're just going to Alt drag this over here. Make sure that it's pretty close but not touching. Move it over one snap. There we go. And control click this other group. And then we're just going to Alt duplicate these guys like I did before. Make sure that these guys are not touching. Alt, move it over. Make sure these guys aren't touching. There we go. And I'm going to ungroup these guys. Shift G. And I'm going to get rid of this window here. And control click these little guys. And delete those. That one delete. That one delete. This one delete. This one delete. And then I'm just going to leave this part open. Control click these guys. This is where we'd have a sliding door. That's where the tutorial ended. But since we're not going to deal with setting up the code, we're just dealing with getting to know how graphics works in Unreal. We'll leave it at that. And let's make sure that this guy is close by. And all right. That looks excellent. That's all we need to do. What we are gonna, and make sure you save it. The only thing we're gonna add here is we have that little light. Let's go into this light. Let's change it to 500. Let's move it up against the wall. Right around over here. Up a little. Now we're going to add a little sconce. So in props, you see SM lamp wall. Drag that over here. Drag it up. Press F to get close to it. Let's rotate it 180. Drag it against the wall. See the nice ray tracing? You have to make sure that your GPU can handle that. Click on the light. And we'll drag it in there. And that looks pretty good. Great. All right. And now we're going to add... actually, before we do that, there's one thing that you need to see. And when we press play on this, it's going to start right over here because that's where the player start is. Press play and turn around. And it looks pretty cool. Don't fall off the edge. We can't get through the door. Oh, geez. So since we can't get through the door, there's a couple things that we could think about. One is it could be the static mesh. That could be it. Or it could be that the opening is just not big enough. So, and as a 3D artist, you do have to think about these things because it impacts the design. So first off, let's look at collision. Let's try the door first. We could also make the door just not collidable, and you know that's all well and good. But sometimes you do want to do things a little bit more thoroughly. So let's go actually. So we have the door frame selected. I'm thinking let's right click on the door frame and go to Edit SM Door Frame. And this will bring up our little object editor. And we can turn this on. There's actually, I don't think there's any collision on it. Oh, that's unusual. Let's go to there we go, project default. Let's do use complex collision as simple. I think that should do it. Okay, so I just added a box, simplify box collision, and removed it. But I think that that had I think it had already added it. So what we did was we went over here, we changed collision enabled. Oh no, we changed this to custom, and then we went down and changed use complex collision as simple, and then we click save. And now let's check and see if this works. It may not, and if that's the case, then it's the wall is just too small. Yep, it's too small. So what we have to do is we have to find our object that was subtractive. So go to selection mode, go to brush editing, and then we go to wireframe. And we should be able to find our little wireframe. I'm going to actually go back into selection mode. I'm going to move this guy up. There we are. So I couldn't quite see our BSP brush. And now that that's up, I'm going to go back into brush editing, and I'm going to click on the top. I'm going to move that up just about here. That should be good. And the reason I went into brush editing is I don't want to risk moving this bottom part and having it cut into the ground and have to retexture that. That would be kind of annoying. Or adjust the UVs. Then I go back into selection, go back into lit, and we can, so it's a little higher now, and we still have the brush selected. So I'm going to press R, and I'm going to move our cutting object. I'll move that out just a little bit, and that looks good to me. Now I'm going to take this guy, bring it down a little. So since it wasn't connected to another object, I was able to press end, or intersecting another object, I could press end. And now I'm going to bring this guy up a little. Let's change the height to be let's turn off scale snap. Ooh, whoa, I don't want that. The thin man. And then we're just going to scale this guy out. Now let's see what happens. There we go. Huzzah! All right. May look a little bit big, but you know it works. Lastly, let's add a little bit. Oh, you know what we forgot? We forgot to do the windows. You don't want stuff coming in there. So this one, I think I ungrouped that one. Let's hold down Alt, grab this window, move it back down here, and press F. Now it's inside of the wall. It's clipping a lot. Oh dear. Right, so we're going to scale this guy because, you know, we could leave it there, cutting through, but why not be a little bit more exact? Could cause some drawing issues. And we'll uniformly scale this down. And then scale it out a little. All right. And hold down Alt, drag this guy over here, press F. I really love that function, that F command. So you have that. Lastly, we need to do the skylight. And Alt, and we'll rotate that 90, drag it up, press F, rotate it 90 degrees, bring it into that corner. Scale it up uniformly. Make it less tall. And then put it right in the middle of the window. Alright, looks good. Okay, so we got that. That was the thing I'd missed. But now, for a little bit of fun, we're going to go in here to our props. And let's drag in a chair. And let's drag in a table. And let's drag in this little sculpture. Now in this, oh, it's floating. All right, click on the chair, press end, rotate it, click on the table, press end, and we're going to put it close to the window. Look at that nice lighting. This is called radiosity, where you have the light right next to another source. You can see that that is actually affecting the light on the wall. Used to take a lot of computational power to do that. Well, it still does, but we're able to handle it. And so I'm putting it back here because we start right in this area, and I just didn't feel like moving the player start. We're going to take this guy, we'll move it back over the table, press end, and it'll go right on the table, put it right in the middle. Oops. Press end again because, oh, no, I guess it doesn't have that collision. All right. So with that, now we're going to do a fun little thing. Let's click on this guy, scroll down a little bit, click, turn on simulate physics, do that for the table, and do that for the chair. And then we're going to save it. Before we run anything, let's do a build lighting. All right, and now let's play it. So now we can turn around, everything should work fine. We go out here, Over here, we can go out the window. Don't fall to your death. Go over here. Since we don't have a gun in here, we can still run into these guys and we can move them. So that's kind of fun. If there was a gun, then we would be shooting these guys and making them fall over the place. We could probably push it out of the... can we push it out the side? Oh no, it's not gonna let me do that. That's unusual. Go out. Whoa, there it goes. Ah, it's the little things in life. So this is really cool. This is what we made. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much to the person that made this one originally for 4.7, Wes Bunn. He did an awesome job, and it's taught my students a whole lot about how to use Unreal with exactitude, because there's just so many things that you learn through this exercise, and you have helped a lot of students figure out how to use Unreal. So my intense gratitude. And hope you don't mind that I updated this to 5. So what else can there be said about this? You guys learned a lot. Hopefully you made this to exactly as close as you possibly can. And well, I guess that's about it. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.